24 ranked San Jose State has defeated the Wolfpack and is on to the Mountain West Championship game this Saturday, December 19th, kickoff at 1:15 p.m., and it'll be televised on Fox Sports, and they will play Boise State, who comes in as the number 2 seed to San Jose State's number 1. And how good does it feel to say number 24 ranked San Jose State Spartans after a 6-0 regular season? Quite spectacular. Coach Brent Brennan getting the Mountain West Head Coach of the Year, and there were many more accolades that we will talk about later in the show. Welcome to the Spears Football Preview Show. I'm Ryan Carlson. Along with me, I have Derek Au, Stevie Corio, and Max Miller. Where did you guys watch the game against Nevada, and what did you think of it?
Well, Ryan, I was at work for the first half of it. For the second half, I was at my girlfriend's house. And I think the change of locations is what happened, because when I was at work, it was the first half. When I got to the girlfriend's house, it was the second half, and we all know what happened in the second half. 23 points for, I think it was, compared to 0. 23 points second half to 0 for San Jose State. So I think the change of location, so I might need to watch this Saturday's game from the girlfriend's house, not at work. But, man, does it feel good to say number 24, San Jose State. I mean, that's huge. That is huge. All year we've been preaching they should be ranked. They should be ranked. The first time they play a very, very quality opponent in Nevada, we got that big 2-4 next to us. Put us next to Alabama next time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I've been saying let's play Alabama all along, but fortunately, the CFP is a little kind of political. You know, but they favor big schools, but we won't mention that. But take a look at this sweater. You know, I'm in the Christmas spirit. This is from the movie Elf, y'all. So I know we've watched that about 50 million times. But yeah, the Spartans, it was kind of like the movie The Hangover, I guess you would say, where the first half they're looking for Doug. They kind of lost their mojo in the first half. Nevada just, 20 to build up a 20-7 lead. And then we saw the videos that, the hype videos that they post, on our Twitter, on their Twitter, the football team's account. And then they just woke up. Shamar Garrett ran like he was driving to go find Mr. Chow. And boom, right into the end zone for that kickoff return. Got the special teams player of the week, if I may add. And then, just the defense picked up. Cade Hall literally carried the whole entire team on his back. I mean, the last four minutes of that game. So, yeah, it was just an unbelievable performance by the Spartans. Gutsy. And now, they're ranked and to be among the top 25 teams in the country. And that's a huge accomplishment in itself. And, I think that should be just a monument, considering the season's had a lot of turns like a roulette table, which the Spartans, they've been playing this game of roulette, going from San Jose to Humboldt to Hawaii and now to Vegas. And they could cash in all their chips and hoist a trophy hoist a conference trophy for the first time since 1991.
I think that the game that they just played against Nevada really shows that the Spartans have figured out how to finish games even when they're not starting out strong, which is something that in the past we've seen they haven't really been able to do. I think it's been crazy, especially since my time at San Jose State, seeing the way that the team has changed and formed and become this team that can now push past those setbacks and pull through and actually win games against teams that in the past, they probably, I don't want to say we didn't have a chance, but we wouldn't have thought they would have done as well as they did, especially against Nevada in the second half. So, yeah.
It's been quite a turbulent season for the Spartans, having to relocate their game against Hawaii out to the islands and then fly to Vegas to play what was supposed to be their home game against Nevada in Las Vegas. And they've been in Las Vegas for a few weeks now, so maybe this will feel somewhat like a home game for the Spartans, the Mountain West Championship game at Sam Boyd Stadium out in Sin City. They beat the Wolfpack there last week, and the winner is projected to move on to the Arizona Bowl on New Year's Eve, of the winner of the Mountain West Championship. So we'll see what happens. During the week, the Spartans earn 11 All-Mountain West awards. We'll just list those and then evaluate those after. First team All-Mountain West, Cade Hall, Defensive Player of the Year as well for the Mountain West. Junior Fajoko, Bailey Gaither, Jack Snyder, Kyle Harmon are awarded first team All-Mountain West. Second team All-Mountain West, Trey Jenkins, Nick Starkle, and Trey Walker. Honorable mentions to Derek Deese Jr., Matt Mercurio, and Trey Webb, and the Mountain West Coach of the Year, Brent Brennan. What a progression he has been on with San Jose State from 2017 to now. Back in 2017, going 1-11 with the Spartans, now to an undefeated 6-0. I mean, a historic season. And during the press conferences this week, Tyler Nevins, he said that this is the biggest game in program history, the Spartans' first appearance in the Mountain West Championship since joining in 2013. And there's a long storied history of San Jose State football, but this is the biggest game for a long time, at least, if not the biggest in program history. Again, you've heard this a lot, but best season since 1939 when the Spartans went 13-0, and they hope to keep the train going in Las Vegas against Boise State, who will be a tough opponent. Spartans have not seen the Broncos since November 2nd of 2019, and that was a shootout-like game where Boise came out on top 52-42 in San Jose. So the Spartans would like to get that one back, and what better time than this weekend at the Mountain West Championship game?
Yeah, I think that's perfect timing. I mean, this has been the season of breaking records and breaking trends and, they breaking streaks, that is. Well, their streak of however many years it was from, what did you guys say, 1991, I think it was. But the last time they were, awarded the Mountain West champion, they were supposed to play Boise State, didn't due to COVID issues. This is their chance to prove that the game against Nevada wasn't a fluke, that they would have beaten Boise, that they would have beaten Fresno. This is the game to prove all the doubters wrong. Yes, they're number 24, but that hasn't stopped the people in Vegas from favoring Boise State by 6.5 points. So it's about a touchdown difference. According to ESPN, their matchup predictor gives only San Jose State a 32% chance of winning. So, I mean, unlike last week, barely favored over Nevada, showing that they can be better than what they're projected to do, and that's been the trend all year. The biggest, difference from the last 2 to 3 weeks has been Tyler Nevins really starting to get going. Kyrie Robinson is getting going as well, but not like Tyler Nevins. He's had 2 very long runs that may have inflated his rush yards, but even still, he's been effective when he is not taking it to the house. It's taken some stress off Nick Starkel, and it's taken some stress off Nick Nash. Now, I'm not sure if Nick Nash likes it, but he's not needed to carry the load in the rushing game anymore. With Tyler Nevins and Kyrie Robinson really picking it up and handling that run game, it allows the offense to be more dynamic, which allows them to make better plays, and going deep, which they clearly like to do, is more open. The defense, like you said, Cade Hall has had a tremendous year. He's the first San Jose State player ever to win the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, ever. He's ranked 4th nationally in sacks per game with 1.33 and 19th in tackles for loss in 1.5. So, I mean, again, it's going to be similar to last week. Hopefully San Jose State doesn't get off that slow start, but if there's ever time to prove a lot of people wrong and maybe even become a top 20 team, maybe even top 15, this is the game to do it, and let's go to the Arizona Bowl.
I have to agree with Max also. I think a lot of people are expecting Boise State to come out on top for this game, but one thing that San Jose State has proven week after week, and even with these gaps in the timeline of when they're playing, is that they've proven that despite these setbacks, they're able to come out on top and they're able to prove people wrong. And, I don't think anybody really expected them to have as good of a season as they're having this year. And I think that's something that people really need to recognize, and they need to understand going into this game that it's really any team's game. I don't really think I could wholeheartedly say that Boise is expected to win, because personally, I think that the Spartans are going to really surprise people with the way that they play this weekend.
Yeah, good point, Stevie. And I know Max and our grad assistant, Ernie Gonzalez, they've been in the conductors of the Nevins Express. All aboard! So they've really been the two that have been on the choo-choo train, if you know what I mean. But this team's just been remarkable. I know Ryan and I and a couple of the writers of the Spear, we attended the player availability earlier this week, and I asked Nick Starkel, what would it be like for you and your teammates to have confetti? Because he said a similar quote to KTVU TV in the Bay Area, and he's like, this is what you play. You play college football to play in big games like this. And of course, we wish it was in San Jose at CEFCU Stadium. They could have the construction going on, still play. But this team seems to be fired up, and I would say this is one of the biggest games in athletic, in San Jose State athletics history, regardless of football, because this is a chance to really put yourselves back on the map. It's been a while, and going up against the Boise State team, who have been really the gold standard, I think, in terms of West Coast football, besides the USC and Stanford and Oregon and Washington. Let's throw Washington in there. So this is going to be a big game, and it's on Fox. So, I mean, you get some nationally glued eyes. You get to play the commercials. And you could say you're the most transformative university in the entire country. It's going to be fun. And, a lot of kids, there's a study, I believe, a lot of kids, when they watch big time college football, they literally apply to that school just to say, hey, I go to the same school. So I expect the same thing to happen when and if the Spartans do pull it off. And I know Nick Starkel mentioned he wanted to write a book about his college football career. So I think it would be a good last chapter.
Yeah, he sure did during the press conference. And he said that the past couple weeks that the Spartans football team has experienced, he called it poetry in motion, that the whole world and everything surrounding the football team kind of just stops when the initial kickoff takes place and everybody's just dialed in and ready to go for San Jose State football. So pretty impressive stuff from San Jose State, getting the win last week against Nevada, 30-20. Let's jump right into predictions this week. But before we do, we will review last week's predictions. Derek is shaking his head. He was so close to getting on the win column in predictions. He was off by a net 8, but I was off by a net 7. I am so sorry, Derek. I really wish it wasn't that way, but I win again.
Hey, Ryan, I don't advocate for illegal gambling since this is considered college sports. So, we're not, I know the Raiders have been, let's just say their defense hasn't shown up in Viva Las Vegas at the Allegiant Stadium. But yeah, I was off by, I believe, net 7. I think that Matt Mercurio field goal that he missed in the first quarter, I know he's had trouble kicking in his previous games at Sam Boyd. I think that would have helped me over. But hey, the team won, and so I think the fans are happy. This is about the fans, so hey, if we get sponsored by MGM for this show, though, then
Yeah, this is just for bragging rights, our little prediction game here. But Derek was so close, missing by 1 point. But in the game this Saturday, we'll see who wins. Let's jump right into predictions for the Mountain West Championship game, starting with Max.
So the over-under here, 56. I think it's a little high. However, I think it's going over. San Jose State, like I said, is the underdog by 6.5. I did not know what to predict, so therefore before this podcast, I said, Dad, what's the score prediction? He says 41-33 San Jose State. So lock it in, 41-33 San Jose State. And my keys to the game here, when looking at the numbers here, strictly looking at numbers, especially since we didn't get a look at Boise State earlier in the year, their defense is stout. However, they don't give up many pass yards, only 169 yards a game, but they allow 183 rush yards a game. That's a lot. San Jose State is giving up 228 pass yards a game, only giving up 127 rush yards a game. So the trend continues. Get Tyler Nevins and Kyrie Robinson involved early, get them going, run the ball down their throat. And again, similar offense to Nevada. Boise State gets a lot of yards passing, about 245. Only running ball, about 123 yards a game. Stop their pass, and you're going to win the game. And again, just like last week, try not to get off to a slow start like you did, but they played their guts out. And how loud Nevada was in the first half, and then after Shamar Garrett ran that kick return back to start the second half, they were quiet the rest of the way. They shut them up. They played great, and I think they need to carry that over into this game. I think the goal here is come out, play hard, but don't be overamped. So again, get that run game going, keep it going, stop their pass attack, and play great, play hard, but don't go overamped. Listen to your coach, stay level-headed, but make sure you play with energy.
Yeah, I know Cher performed at Caesar's Palace, so they need to play some of that because San Jose State, they need to be the ones to dethrone Boise State. And players to watch for the Broncos, Andrew Van Buren, no relation to former U.S. President Martin Van Buren, leads the Mountain West with 8 rushing touchdowns. So expect them to feed them the ball. And Avery Williams, I mean, he's like a Devin Hester 3.0. I know he won the special teams player of the year for the conference. So just keep it away from him, pin him in the end zone if you can. If you're Chris Wood, the punter, who handles the kickoffs. And don't, I know we saw a couple of times last week where they kicked the ball out of bounds, cost them 15 yards. Luckily, it didn't hurt them, but for this Boise State team, they'll take advantage of that real quick. And I know there was this article by the head coach, I believe it's at Boise State, Brian Harsin. He said that they might want to leave the Mountain West. But I told Maxis, might as well just give them the free ticket, because the Spartans are going to win big, 38-24. I believe it's going to play out similar to this game, last week's game against Nevada, and it's going to come down to special teams and execution. I feel like we'll be saying Nick Starkel's name a lot. I feel like he wants us to be a standout game. I know Trey Walker's been a little too quiet, and I think he's going to come out and show why he is one of the best receivers heading into the season in the Mountain West, because I know he doesn't want that honor or that second team. He wants to be that first team in the Mountain West. So 38-24 at Spartans, and we'll be doing a show. Could be live from Tucson, Arizona, if Ryan pays for the airplane by Wheels Up, or be here. Either way, we're going to do one more show.
All right, my prediction is 35-27 San Jose State, and I think that, like what Derek said, I think Nick is going to have an outstanding, or Nick Starkel, I think he's going to have an outstanding game, and I really think that the Spartans are going to play not surprisingly well. I think that they're going to blow a lot of people away this weekend with the way that they're playing, and I think that Boise State is honestly in for a surprise. I don't really think that they know what they're getting into with this game, and I think that this team has proven themselves to be very disciplined, and not even only on the football field, but outside of that as well. One of the reasons why they were able to do so well was because of their discipline and because of their ability to, kind of stay focused, block everything out, and get through this weird COVID time. So I think that they've already proven themselves to be the stronger team.
Well, I thought last week was the week I was going to get my winning field goal prediction correct. I guess I was going to have to wait a week. So I'm going to go with that. This Saturday, Spartans take it 31-28. They had to get acclimated to Las Vegas after coming from Hawaii. That's why they got to a slow start against Nevada, but they roared back in the second half and were able to defeat the Wolfpack. Obviously last week going 6-0. The Wolfpack will go to play in the world-famous Idaho Potato Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, against Tulane University. So they are off to that one, and San Jose State will battle to get into the Arizona Bowl. Against who, we don't know quite yet. But you got to get the running game going, as you all have mentioned. Nevins put on another show last weekend. 12 carries, 184 yards, 1 touchdown. Shamar Garrett got a taste of what returning a kick to the end zone feels like, and the Spartan true freshman will, it seems like he likes Vegas so far. Shamar Garrett put on a show against the Wolfpack. And Cade Hall is going to have to get in the face of Hank Bachmeier, the Boise State quarterback, really make him have to throw the ball and get out of the pocket quickly, make him uncomfortable. For the San Jose State offensive line, you're going to really have to protect Nick Starkel against Riley Wimpy, who's been an all-star on the line for the Broncos this season. So lots of keys to the game. It's going to be an incredible game to watch Saturday on Fox Sports at 1:15 p.m. Pacific time from Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. Keep an eye on the Spears Twitter for live tweets and updates. We hope you all enjoy the game on Saturday, Mountain West Championship. It's going to be a fun one on national TV, Fox Sports, 1:15 p.m. kickoff. So for my co-hosts Derek Al, Stevie Corio, and Max Miller, I'm Ryan Carlson. We'll see you before the bowl game as well on another Spartan Football Preview Show.